In this video, we are going to deploy two Azure VM in the same virtual network and one in the hub network. Then check the hostname and DNS suffix for all the VMs. We will then use DNS names to connect to each other. Let's discuss the scenario first. In this scenario, Azure Bastion is deployed in the VNet region 1 hub 1 network and a VM name as my hub VM. While two virtual machines are placed in the VNet region 1 and spoke 1 network. This architecture is designed to achieve secure and seamless connectivity between these components while utilizing Azure's managed DNS service. What are we trying to achieve here? We want to use Azure Bastion to securely log into the virtual machines without exposing the RDP ports to the internet. After logging in through the Azure Bastion, we will hop onto the VMs and verify the DNS names of the host machines. We will check the virtual network settings to ensure that the Azure provided DNS is configured. We will use the DNS names of the VMs within the same virtual network to verify that name resolution works properly. These steps ensures that the VM can communicate seamlessly using Azure provided DNS without manual configuration. And we will also try to check connectivity from the hub to the spoke network using DNS names and the IP address. So let's get on the portal. I'm on the Azure portal. What is that we're going to do? We are going to use the same virtual network that we deployed in the earlier demo. We deployed hub 1 network and spoke 1 network. But in this case, what I did, I added additional subnet. That subnet is called workload subnet because that is where we're going to deploy the Azure VM, right? And then what I did, just to save up on a times, I also deployed the Bastion host. Okay, the Bastion service is just basically go click, select the Azure Bastion subnet in hub, and that's it. Then I deployed 3 virtual machines, as you've seen in the architecture. One I deployed in the hub VNet, and 2 I deployed in the spoke VNet. What is that we're going to do right now? We are going to log into all the machines and see what we get there. So let me get on the VM1. Bastion, because it's peered network, it's basically picking up the Bastion. So we can utilize that Bastion, which is there in the hub network, to log into the machine. So we are on the VM1. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for VM2 as well. So let me utilize the VM2 in this case. Let me log in here using the credentials, and let's get on the VM2. Now in the tab, you can see that, we got both the VM. We logged in there, and on VM2, I am on the VM2. Let's go ahead and check what we get here when we do the IP config. All right. And this is the DNS suffix that we're getting. And this is the IP address. What we get on this VM1? Let's ensure that what we see here, IP config is the command. And we get a same DNS suffix and a different IP address. What does it mean? For this virtual network, whatever the machine that you're going to deploy, it will get same DNS suffix, so one DNS suffix to one virtual network. And this particular string, would be different for every virtual network, So your namespace is internal.cloudapp.net is a standard one across all Azure provided DNS. All right. That is a thing to understand. So internal.cloudapp.net is the same namespace that you will see for the Azure provided DNS. All right. Now let's go ahead and try to connect from VM. Let me copy this one first because we need this DNS suffix. All right. So edit, let's go ahead and copy. And what is that I am going to do? I am going to log in from VM1. I am on the VM1 to VM2, right? So that's VM2, and let me use that name, and there you go. we can basically log into my VM2 using a DNS names from VM1. Similar thing if we do from the VM2, for VM1, let's utilize the same DNS suffix, and you can go to the my VM1 as well. All right. So when you are in the same network, you can use DNS names provided by the Azure provided DNS. It works. But let's try to unpack when you are in a different network. What are the things that we see here? Let's log in using the username and password. All right, in this particular case as well. And we are on the hub VM. All right, so here what we get, let's see what we get here. In this case, the DNS suffix that we got for this virtual network is different. All right, so for each virtual network, you should see something different. All right, and if you try to log in, let me close this one, let me take this guy once again, and what is that we're gonna do? We are going to use this particular DNS suffix to log into that machine from a different network. Let's say my VM2 is what we are going to try. It should not work. Why? Because this is a limitation of Azure provided DNS, that they cannot resolve names across virtual networks, and this could be a problem. And that's why you have to have your own DNS solution rightly done within your environment. But because these networks are peered and you try to use IP address, which is 44, right? It should work. Using IP address, it should work, right? So is connecting over RDP protocol using IP address, but not using the DNS name. So this limitation, is there. So this is why you should have your own DNS solution within your environment, so that name resolution works perfectly, across multiple networks, I think that's all pretty much in this particular case. And I think, I'm not sure whether I have shown you or not, but on the virtual network, when we create the virtual network, this is the DNS server, and by default it is Azure provided. We haven't done this configuration, we just created the virtual network, and this is where that Azure provided DNS is basically picked up. All right, that's all pretty much in this particular video.